The term I will use for girl group analysis is commercial. This doesn't stand for a very specific style but refers to a broader umbrella term for the dancing that is most often seen in music videos of Western female pop singers. It originally started as jazz hip-hop and jazz funk, but as nowadays there isn't really always a clear jazz, hip-hop or funk foundation identifiable, and influences from all sorts of styles can be integrated, it might be less confusing to just use the commercial term. You can frequently see influence from Vogue and whacking, for example. It's usually very feminine, with a focus on hips and good posture, and there are typical basic steps that are used over and over in K-pop girl group choreo. Professionally, this style is usually danced quite big and with a lot of energy. In K-pop, during second and third gen we had small and soft execution as the standard, which is often referred to as idol dancing or girl group dancing. Currently, several groups dance more strongly while others remain close to the idol style. It's important to understand that jazz funk incorporates street styles and is a fusion style as well. There are lots of steps that can be used in open style and commercial, but the execution usually differs. In recent years, the lines between these styles get more and more blurry. Nowadays there are often classes that are just labeled choreography, and those could be one of the two, or even an in-between of what we consider open style and commercial. Many street woman fighter dancers are proficient in both criterias. Maybe one day we won't need a differentiation anymore. Currently there are enough significant differences to separate them. The posture and other habits are quite contrary. Commercial jazz funk technique is defined by upright posture, consistent core support, emphasis on hip movement and lines. It's quite difficult to switch from one to the other when not used to it, as they are different sets of habits that can be contradictory, but still more similar and more closely related than many other dance styles. How to still analyze open style technique? After all, there are many more female idols who can dance open style compared to male idols who can dance commercial. There are idols like Momo who can execute open style choreos, but who use the jazz funk aesthetic and technique to do so. Then there are idols like Kyujin who are able to switch quite well between those techniques. For the higher tiers, either of these variants are acceptable from the commercial perspective, though being able to switch like Kyujin would give an additional bonus point. Everyone above the LD tier should at least have some grasp on how to execute such steps that go beyond jazz funk basics. So, while typical jazz funk/commercial foundation is the primary thing I'm looking at, open style can still be evaluated. For example, due to the main focus being on street style origins, in open style lacking groove is worse than lacking lines and extensions, but from the jazz funk and commercial perspective that will be the other way around. Still, commercial choreos have grooves just as open style choreos have lines. Most of the female idols who are known to be good at open style are still similarly or more skilled at commercial. For the exceptions, I will also mention the open style tier they would be in. Below average, Jisoo from Blackpink. Jisoo can execute basic girl group steps. This alone is still below the average demands that are needed for girl group members in order to keep up with the choreo. Jisoo lacks foundations and is overall inconsistent as a result. Average, Wonyoung from IVE. Wonyoung can dance pretty much any typical girl group choreo decently. Stylistically she dances in the previously mentioned idol way. There aren't noticeable dynamics or other more advanced skills to her dancing. LD, Yujin from CLC and Kep1er. Yujin's placement, alignment, isolations are all on a level where she can make a typical commercial choreo look good. Her execution of foundational jazz funk steps is solid and consistent. Most third-gen girl group lead dancers are around that level. Yujin doesn't showcase significant skills beyond those typical foundations though. Low MD, Ningning and Winter from aespa. Both Winter and Ningning have decent commercial foundations and some additional skills that put them above the lead dancer level. Ningning can dance big and has decent groove, Winter has good isolations and pops. Ningning still lacks precision and arm control while Winter's style prevents her from developing more free and big movement qualities. I previously underestimated them a bit, but after the material from 2023, I am more impressed by their quite versatile skills. MD, Haewon from NMIXX. Here you can see that the tiers are not about official positions but just named after them. Haewon has the skills that are usually expected of a main dancer in a girl group. She is the best at dancing with typical GG aesthetics in her group but can add more power when needed. Her form is neat and consistent and she knows how to avoid excessive tension. Hi MD Yeji from ITZY. Yeji has very well-rounded skills and is often the best at hip-hop inspired steps. Her inconsistency with lines and other details is the main reason she is not quite on the highest tier yet. While ITZY stood out for strong dancing during their debut, they are still dancing quite small for commercial standards, and for the highest tier I expect the ability to dance big. Even in her dance covers, Yeji sticks to her idol dancing habits and doesn't leave her comfort zone all that much. MD+, Hikaru from Kep1er. Hikaru has very strong, consistent skills. She dances big rather than following idle habits. Her physical strength plays an important part in her abilities. I hope that we can see more diverse dances from her in the future, but so far I already think that it's safe to say that she is one of the top dancers in K-pop.